Imagine this. You wake up, reach for your phone, and before you've even blinked, your brain is already working. Messages, news, lists, deadlines, ads, other people's opinions. And somewhere inside all that noise, something simple gets lost. The feeling that your life belongs to you. Now imagine a different morning. Same room, same day, but there's a pause in it. Silence. You make one movement, and you make it fully. You pick up a cup and feel its weight, its warmth, the roughness of the ceramic, and suddenly something inside you levels out. Not magic, discipline. In Japan, there's a word that rarely translates into a single sentence: Shojin, the discipline of simplicity, perseverance, and honesty with yourself. Attention to the small that gradually transforms the big. It's not trendy minimalism like declutter and become happy. It's a quiet training of character. And today, I'll tell you a story of how Shojin works, not in books, but in real life. And if you stay until the end, I'll give you a simple 7-day ritual you can start with no purchases, no apps, and no new life starting Monday. Noise. I remember the day I realized I was living as if someone kept pressing the speed up button. 10 tabs open in my mind, tension in my body, a phone in my pocket that rings even when it's silent. I did a lot, but almost nothing fully. It felt like running through a crowd in a train station. Everyone is rushing somewhere, and you rush too, even though you're not sure where you're going. You don't fall, but you're not grounded either. And the strangest part is you get used to it. You start believing that's how life is supposed to be. That normal means an inner hum, like a transformer. That's when I first heard the word Shojin. Not from a guru, not from a motivational speaker, from a cook working in a tiny place where there wasn't a single unnecessary object. No posters, no TV, no extra words. They served simple food, and it was strangely enough. I asked, "What's the secret?" He smiled and said, "The secret is we don't add what isn't needed. It's called Shojin." A door that doesn't shout. A few weeks later, I found myself at the wooden gate of a small Buddhist temple. Not a tourist one, not an Instagrammable one, just a place where people live and work quietly. A man in simple clothes, maybe in his 50s, met me. His face wasn't trying to impress anyone. He asked, "Did you come for peace?" I answered honestly, "I came to stop feeling torn apart." He nodded. "Then you'll first learn to do one thing." I expected a lecture. Instead, they handed me a broom. Yes, a broom. "Sweep the courtyard," he said, slowly. "And don't think it's a small thing. This is the beginning." So there I was, an adult, sweeping leaves. My mind protested. I came here for wisdom, not cleaning. But that was the trap. I wanted wisdom as information, and Shojin is wisdom as action. For the first 5 minutes, I swept the way I answer emails, fast, tense, like I was competing. Then the monk came over and simply demonstrated the movement. The broom touches the ground softly. Leaves gather without anger. Breath doesn't run ahead. "You're not cleaning the courtyard," he said. "You're cleaning the noise inside you. The courtyard is a mirror." And for the first time, I felt it. Simplicity isn't a style. Simplicity is honesty. What Shojin really is. Shojin is often confused with minimalism. Throw out half your things and you'll feel lighter. But Shojin doesn't start with objects. It starts with intention. In Buddhist tradition, Shojin means sincere effort, doing what's right without showing off, being diligent in what matters, not looking for shortcuts when it comes to character. And simplicity here isn't poverty or refusing everything, it's refusing what stands between you and reality. That's why Japan also has Shojin Ryori, simple monastic cuisine, not to impress, but to be precise, clean, and grateful. Less excess in words, less excess in movement, less excess in plans, less excess in the need to appear a certain way. The monk said something that hit me. Complexity is often a form of escape. People add details so they don't have to face the main thing. And I recognize myself. I added tasks so I wouldn't face emptiness. I bought things so I wouldn't face fatigue. I created noise so I wouldn't have to hear my own thoughts. Shojin doesn't heal the world, it heals your ability to live in the world without being at war with it. One bowl. The next morning, they called me to breakfast. I imagined something spiritual, but on the table there was one bowl of rice, a few vegetables, miso soup, nothing special, yet everyone sat as if this was the most important event of the day. Before eating, they quietly put their hands together and said words of gratitude. Not theatrical, no grand emotion, more like a reminder. This meal is the result of earth, labor, and time. And if you eat on autopilot, you miss your life. I took my first bite and realized how long it was since I ate without a screen. The taste was simple, and that's why it was clear. The monk noticed my expression and said, "When you get used to excess, the simple feels empty. When you clean yourself of excess, the simple becomes deep." That might be one of Shojin's core ideas. Don't add more stimulation, restore your sensitivity. The discipline of small things. Life in the temple wasn't meditation all day, it was life, work, routine tasks, but everything was done with the same attention. Washing dishes as if you're polishing a mirror, folding a blanket as if you're folding thoughts, pouring tea as if every movement carries weight. I got irritated, not outwardly, inwardly, because my habit is to rush, and rushing is a form of distrust. It's like telling the world, if I don't speed up, nothing will get done, nothing will be enough. The monk once asked me, "Why do you do everything fast?" I replied, "Because otherwise I won't make it." He smiled, "And where exactly are you trying to make it to? The end of the day? The end of your life?" It wasn't a joke, it was a bell, because I really was running, without knowing where. The one action rule. That evening, he gave me the first Shojin rule you can carry into the city, into an apartment, into an office. When you do something, do only that. Not as perfect meditation, but as training. 5 minutes, 10, 30. 5 minutes washing a cup, no phone, no podcast. 10 minutes walking, no scrolling. 30 minutes writing, no 10 tabs. It sounds easy, but it hurts, because then you meet what you've been avoiding. Inner noise, anxiety, the urge to sweeten reality with stimulation. And Shojin shows its nature. It's not about pleasant, it's about clean. The empty shelf. The next day, I stepped into the storage room where daily tools were kept. There was little, very little. Everything had a place, and the space wasn't empty, it was free. I remembered my apartment, drawers that won't close, closets that breathe stress, piles of just in case, and suddenly it made sense. I hold on to objects the same way I hold on to thoughts, chaotically, out of fear that I'll lack something later. The monk said, an object that doesn't serve becomes a burden. A thought that doesn't serve does too. Shojin doesn't demand you live in a bare room. It asks, is this truly yours or just noise you keep because you're afraid of silence? Strict tenderness. There's a point where Shojin becomes uncomfortable because it doesn't pat you on the head, it teaches you to choose. And choosing means refusing. Refusing one more episode when you're exhausted. Refusing a toxic conversation that feels interesting. Refusing later when you can take one small step now. It's discipline, yet strangely gentle because it returns your self-respect. I noticed in the temple, no one said you must be perfect, but everyone lived as if each day was a chance to become a little clearer. Shojin in the city. On the fourth day, I asked, how does this work outside the temple? In the subway, at work, in a family? The monk answered, in the temple it's easy. There are fewer temptations. Shojin begins where temptation is close. He offered a mental experiment. Imagine your life is a garden. Every habit is a seed. You can't control the wind, but you can choose what you plant each day. In the city, we plant a lot of weeds. Reactivity, rushing, craving approval, endless consumption. Shojin is planting something else. clarity, moderation, simple rituals, completion. Not everything at once, one seed at a time. 3 questions. That evening, he gave me 3 questions that, he said, cut excess more precisely than any life hack. Is it necessary? Not I want it or it's interesting, but necessary. Is it now? Many things are necessary, but not today. Is it mine? Sometimes we live inside other people's scripts. He said, if you answer these 3 honestly, your life starts clearing itself. And I understood simplicity isn't fewer things, it's less self-deception. Silence as a tool. On the 5th day, there was a period of silence. No one spoke for several hours. At first, it felt strange, even awkward. Then I noticed how quickly the brain stops producing extra phrases. In that quiet, I saw how many words I used to fill pauses, how many jokes so I don't show vulnerability, how often I say, I'm busy instead of, I'm tired. In speech, Shojin isn't about being mute, it's about saying only what doesn't add noise, and when you speak less, you hear more. The hardest moment. The hardest moment came unexpectedly. I was sitting in a room and felt emptiness. Not the peaceful emptiness, but the kind where you suddenly see your life has been built out of distractions. And then the urge hit. Give me something. The phone, music, conversation, anything. I went outside and saw the monk simply watching the sky. I said, I'm bored. It feels empty. He didn't rush to respond. Then he said, good. That means you've reached the place where you can begin. Because as long as you keep entertaining yourself, you won't feel what you truly want. That idea flipped everything. Maybe our exhaustion isn't from work, but from constant avoidance. Simplicity doesn't kill joy. There's a myth that living simply makes life gray. But in the temple, I saw the opposite. People laughed, quietly but sincerely. They found joy not in excess, but in precision. Tea was joy because you actually tasted it. A walk was joy because you weren't on your phone. Work was joy because it was completed. Shojin doesn't take away color. It wipes the dust off your eyes. Coming back. When I returned home, the world hadn't changed. Messages didn't vanish. Work didn't become easier. The subway didn't get quieter. But I changed. I began noticing the moment my hand reaches for the phone for no reason. I started catching myself adding tasks so I wouldn't have to feel. I began reclaiming my right to pause. And most importantly, I realized Shojin isn't hiding from the world, it's learning to be in it without unnecessary noise. And as promised, here's a simple 7-day ritual you can start today. Not as a plan for life, but as an experiment. Important, do the minimum. Shojin doesn't like heroics, it likes consistency. Day 1. One action. Choose any simple action. Wash a cup, make your bed, take a shower, and do it with no phone, no music, no multitasking. Just the action. Day 2. One unnecessary item. Remove one thing from your field of view that doesn't serve you. Clutter on your desk, a box you keep just in case, an object that triggers guilt. You don't have to throw it away, just take it out of sight. Day 3. 3 questions. Is it necessary? Is it now? Is it mine? Act only after answering. Day 4. 5 minutes of silence. Sit for 5 minutes. Not meditation done right, just silence. Breathe. Let your mind creak and settle. Day 5. One simple meal. Eat one meal without screens. Slowly. Notice flavor. Offer gratitude, silently or out loud, to the earth, the people, and the time behind it. Day 6. One completion. Finish one small task you've been dragging. Not huge, small. An email, a document, a shelf. Completion is anti-stress. Day 7. One boundary. Say no to one excess. A draining conversation, scrolling before bed, a task you do out of guilt. One no is many yeses to yourself. If you do these 7 days, you won't become a different person in a week, but you'll feel something important. There is a place in your life where you are in charge, a place where simplicity isn't poverty, it's freedom. Now, a question for you. Where is the loudest excess in your life? Things, plans, words, or thoughts? Write one word in the comments, and if you want, I'll make a follow-up. Shojin at work and in relationships. Practices that don't look spiritual but work like discipline. Because Shojin isn't about the temple, it's about finally being able to hear your own life.